Hello everyone, welcome to this video on arrangement series. In this video we'll talk about linear arrangement questions. So first let's try to understand what do we mean by linear arrangement, and then we'll solve a couple of cases to explain how you can go about solving these questions. This video is brought to you by Learning Made Easy team, a team of IIM grads in association with a relearning partner GTCUBE, Get to the Top. If you're watching this video in the YouTube channel, do check out our full-length courses available for free at gtcube.com/store, where you'll get to watch these videos as part of the courses and also get to practice hundreds of questions to strengthen your understanding. So let's get started. So let's look at a sample question to understand what we classify as linear arrangement types of questions. So we have 8 friends. They have some names P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, and they are seated in a row facing north. So generally you would see questions stating seated, standing. You have a bunch of people who are sitting, standing, facing north or south, some direction they would be mentioning, and then they will be giving you clues. There are exactly 2 persons sitting to the left of Q. Right, so let's say if I have 8 people who are standing, right, this would be the north, right, this is the south, this would be the east, and this would be the west. So if they are facing north, that means I should be expecting people sitting in such a way that they are seeing north. So it says, just for an example, there are exactly 2 persons sitting to the left of Q. So I don't know where Q is or everyone else is, right? The arrangement could be like, let's say P is here, R is here, S is here, etc. We don't know in which order they are, or maybe here I might see T, etc. So they'll be giving you a set of clues where you can actually use them to find out location or the position of each person as mentioned in the set. So for example, if I use this clue, there are exactly 2 persons sitting to the left of Q. So this is where Q is sitting, right? Because Q is facing north, so to the left, this would be the left for Q. So there is 1 person and there is second person. I don't know who these 2 people are just based on this first statement, but I just know that Q is sitting in such a way that there are 2 people sitting to the left of Q, and this would be the right of Q. Right, so the very basic understanding that we need to have is understand what is north and what is south. That's something that you constantly see in the questions mentioning how the people are seated or standing. Let's say that I am sitting facing north. So as I said, north would be in this direction when we draw on a paper. So when I am sitting, my left would be this side. If someone is sitting to my left, that would be someone sitting on this side, and this would be my right. Someone sitting on my right side, this is where they should be sitting. If I am sitting facing south, so this is how I should be sitting, right? And so technically this should be my left. So if I say there is someone sitting on my left, so this is where someone must be sitting, and this should be my right. Right, imagine yourself like when you're seeing a screen, you are like facing north, so your right would be how we should be, like if you're sitting now, you could clearly see your right hand should be coming on this side and your left would be coming this side. South is like facing on towards your back side, so basically your left would be on this side on screen and this would be your right. This is something that you need to be very clear about, because questions would be talking about this north and south, and all the clues would be generally talking to the left, to the right, and things like this. So you have to be very clear about it. So again, there will be certain set of direct clues and some indirect clues. So it will be like, for example, there are exactly 2 persons sitting to the left of Q is sort of a direct clue for me that I know basically Q is sitting here. If there is a clue which says 3 persons sit between P and W, so I just know that there are 3 people sitting between P and W, or this could also be W sitting here and P sitting on this side, but I don't know where they are sitting. They could be sitting at the extreme end, right, or it could be right at the middle. So just from that statement alone, I cannot position the people. These would be the indirect clues. So it's always better to use all the direct clues and then get to the indirect clues, so that you can actually make efficient use of given clues and also do it in a shorter time. So let's look at the possible scenarios in terms of arrangement, what you generally get to see in the questions. The first type is basically there will be only one row and they all would be facing north. Let's say there are 5 people who are standing or sitting, and all of them are facing towards north, right? So this is how the 5 people would be. So I don't know who is standing or sitting in all of these 5 positions, but I just know this is how they would be. So if I say Q is sitting at the extreme right side, so this would be Q's location, and then R is sitting to the immediate left of Q, then I can write R here, you know, things like this. So just understand, so this would be the left and this would be the right for the Q, right? Similarly, only one row facing south. So there are 5 people, all of them are facing south. So I should be putting like this. So I don't know who all are sitting in these 5 positions. Again, if I have someone, let's say Q is sitting here, so there should be no one to the right of Q because Q is at the extreme end, and there should be 4 people to the left of Q. Right? That is how the situation would be when people are facing south. So this is like, there's only one row. I would say, let's take for example that alternatively people are facing south and north. Right? There are 5 people, so 3 of them are facing north and 2 of them are facing south. Right? So this is how the question would be talking about, and then you have to understand this person would have a different left and right, and this person would have a different left and right. And this is what we are talking about, 2 parallel rows facing north and south. It could also sometimes be that both the rows are facing only north, or it could also be that both the rows are facing south and south. And final scenario is basically 2 parallel rows but facing each other. So one row is facing north, this is row facing south, and this row is facing north. And this is what I was talking here. So there are 2 parallel rows facing each other. There could also be a scenario where there are 2 parallel rows, they are not facing each other. So basically I would see few of them facing north, one row, and the other row is facing south, and both of them are facing to the outward direction. But whatever the way we do, it just, you know, based on the question and the information given. But the most important part that we need to be clear about is north and south is this way, east and west is this way, and for the north facing, this is right side of the person and this is the left side of the person. Similarly for south facing, this is the left side and this is the right side. Right? This is the most important thing that we need to understand in the scenarios. Then, so you'll get to see hints given in the questions. These are the standard set of hints that we probably see in most of the questions. So just like, let's understand the interpretation of each hint so that you can actually solve the problem with much better, you know, ease. So A sits to the right or left of B, you know, that's how the hint would be. Let's only look at first right case, and let's imagine all the cases where we are facing north, right? So let's say north facing, this is where A is. A sits to the right of B. So okay, I have to take B. So A is sitting to the right of B. So I know that this is where B is facing north. So this is the right side, right? So A could be sitting anywhere to the right of B. Imagine this is not equal to A sitting just next to B. That is like there is no one else between B and A. This is also true, but even this is also a possibility. That is, there are some people sitting between B and A, but A is basically sitting to the right of B. This statement is just giving you a clue that A is sitting towards the right side of B, does not necessarily mean that he is sitting to the immediate right. There is another clue where you will see this word called immediate right or left. If I say A sits to the immediate right of B, so if this is where B is, A has to be on the immediately next position. There will be no one else sitting here. And this is B and then immediately it's A. If we are looking at the left, if A is sitting to the immediate left of B, so this is where A will be sitting and there will be no one sitting in between A and B. This word is very important for us to use this interpretation. If I just say A sits to the right of B, that means B, let's say B sitting here, A can be sitting anywhere, but it should be on the right side, not on this side. That's it. That's the only thing that you can interpret. Not necessarily that B and A are just next to each other. There could be 5 people, 3 people, whatever the number of people that could be possibly sitting between B and A. As long as A is towards the right side of B, the condition is satisfied, not necessarily the immediate right. The next clue, A sits second to the right of B. Let's look at that. So if there is an arrangement, A is sitting second to the right of B. So if B is here, A must be sitting second position. So there will be someone sitting between B and A is on the right side of B in the second position. Now that is how I can interpret. Like how immediate right means that there is no one sitting in between B and A is on the right side of B. A sits second to the right of B is basically there is only one person. Sometimes we'll also see A sits fourth to the right of B. That's basically there are three people sitting between B and A, right? It's like 1, 2, 3 and then this is where A is. There will be three people sitting and A is the fourth person sitting to the right of B. Let's say to the left of B, this is how it will look. If B is here, there will be someone sitting and then comes A who is sitting to the left of B and that's in the second position on the left side. So this is also a direct clue for us. A is an immediate neighbor of B. So this one technically means A and B are next to each other, but this is an interpretation or even this is also a possibility. I just know that they are sitting next to each other, but I don't know who is sitting on the right side of whom. Just that I know both of them are neighbors, both of these interpretations are possible. A is not an immediate neighbor of B means they are not sitting next to each other. So if B is here, A can't be taking these two places. That's the interpretation of it. And anywhere else A can be seated. Similarly, vice versa, if I know where A is sitting, I know that the next two places, the adjacent place of A to the right and left can't be taken by B. That's the clue that this line means. Not an immediate neighbor. One person sits between A and B. Again same, if B is sitting here, it could be on this side or it could be on this side. So I don't know which side is A and B seated. I just know that there is one person sitting. Right? This is also having multiple interpretations. Unlike this, if I say A sits second to the right of B, here it's absolutely clear. If B is here, A is sitting here. Right? A sits second to the left of B this is what the interpretation is. But in this case, if the question says one person sits between A and B, this or this, both of them are possible. I have to keep both possibilities in mind and continue solving the question. So these are the tricky statements that you have to be very careful about, right? If you just stick to one interpretation, you might end up with a wrong case and might get an incorrect answer. There are exactly two persons sitting to the right of A. So there are exactly two persons sitting to the right of A. So if A is here, so there are two people who are sitting to the right of A. And obviously it means this is the extreme end. Otherwise, if there is possibility of someone else sitting, there will be not two people, there will be more than two people sitting. So the question says exactly two persons. So that means I can interpret that there will be two slots taken up by some people and I know A is sitting basically at the third position from the right side. If it is on the left, so it's similar that there are two people sitting and then that is where A is sitting. So there are two people sitting, exactly two persons sitting to the left of A. I know that A is sitting at the third position from the extreme left side. A is sitting at one of the extreme ends at the corner seat. So if the arrangement is in such a way that let's say there are 5 people. So it means A is sitting either this side or this side and he cannot be taking the places in the middle. I don't know which end. Sometimes you will see a statement saying A is sitting at the extreme right side of the arrangement. That is a directly clear clue that I know that A is sitting at the extreme right side. But if the statement says A is sitting at one of the extreme ends of the corner seats, I can only interpret that A could be sitting here or here. And then based on other clues, I have to come to a good conclusion. So these are generally the standard hints that we see in the questions. Most probably these are the statements that will be repeated here, in one way or the other way. The most important thing that you need to understand is that if there is only one interpretation, that's good. If there are multiple possible interpretations for the given statement, keep all of them in mind and continue solving keeping that in mind. If you just take only one of the possible interpretations, you will technically end up with a wrong solution or might get a contradictory arrangement which will give you no sense, and finally you will not be able to solve it and you're stuck there. Right, so let's get let's get started solving these problems. So as usual, we'll recommend you to take a pass, give it a shot based on the given information, and then try and answer the given questions. Then you can look at the solution that we are solving. So I hope you have passed and given a good attempt. So 8 friends P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W are seated in a row facing north, right? So that means immediately I know that there are 8 people, 6, 7 and 8, right? This is where the 8 people are, and there are exactly this is where the clues are starting. So there are exactly 2 persons sitting to the left of Q. So Q should be sitting here, so that there are exactly 2 persons to the left of Q. If Q sits here, right, there will be 1, 2 and 3 people. If Q sits here, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So if Q sits here, there will be no one sitting to the left of Q. If Q sits here, there will be only 1 person sitting to the left of Q. So that's why there is only one possibility for the given statement, that is Q basically sitting at the 3rd position. That's clear. They said 3 persons sits between P and W. Right, so that means the arrangement would be like this, R. So I don't know where is P and where is W, but I can clearly understand from this that all 5 of W and P should be seated in such a way that 5 of them are in a group. I don't know who are sitting in between these 3. Right, so that means W could be here, 1, 2, 3, and then P could be sitting here. Right, R, W could be here, 1, 2, 3 and P could be sitting here, or P could be sitting here and W could be sitting here. All of these are possibilities, so we don't know what are the possibilities. The statement says neither of P nor W is neighbor of Q. So that means W and P can't be seated here. Right, so let's see if I can keep W or P here. If I keep W or P here, to the right there are only 3 people, right, but I need to actually have 4 people, right? I don't know who is sitting here. Let's assume a scenario W, R, P. One of them is sitting here. Then to the right 1, 2 and 3 persons are sitting, and then the other person of the W and P should be sitting, but there is no space for them. On the left side 1, 2 and 3, and then yes, the other person either of W or P, depending on who is sitting here and here, can sit. So that is a possibility. Right, let's look if I can keep W and P here. There are only 2 people to the right, so there is no way I can seat the given arrangement to the right side. To the left 1, 2 and 3, and then yes, I can keep P here, but no, W nor P can't sit here because they can't be the neighbors of Q. Right, and similarly if I keep W and P here, no possibility to the right, 1, 2 and 3, and P or W should be coming here, it's already taken by Q. This is also not a possibility, and W and P can't be sitting here because if they sit here 1, 2 and 3 and the W or P would be coming here, which is not a possibility. So I only see one possibility here. So based on the given information, W or P should be sitting here and the other person should be sitting here, so that there are 3 people between them and neither of W or P are sitting as neighbors of Q. Right, all other positions are not going to give us the possible scenario. So, but I don't know where is P sitting and where is W sitting. Right, let's look at the next set of clues. P sits to the right of R. So that means I don't know where R is sitting, but P should be sitting to the right. Right, and what can I do with that clue? I know that P can't be sitting here. If P is sitting at the extreme left side, where will R sit? R should be sitting to the left of P, right? As because the statement says P sits to the right of R, which means R is sitting to the left of P. So P cannot be seated here. So W is the one who is seated here, and automatically P is the one who is sitting here. Right, so I have confirmed W, I have confirmed Q, and I have confirmed P till now. There is exactly, and R must be seated in any of these positions because P on the left side of P is where R should be sitting. I don't know which of these 2 slots is taken by R yet. There is exactly one person sitting between S and U. So I don't know where S and U are located, but there is exactly one person sitting between S and U. So I cannot have S or U here because if I keep SRU here, they're supposed to be, the other person should be here, because this is where one slot is taken by Q, but that is not possible, because if S is here and U is here, R will not have a slot for sitting. So that means they can't be sitting in this position. On the left side, there is no way that I find two slots, there is only one slot. So obviously SRU can't be seated in this place. Can SRU be in this place? Maybe yes, so that they can have P here, and then they will be sitting SRU in this way. Right? This is still a possibility, but I am not yet confirmed, because there is also a possibility that SRU are here and URS could be here. Right? There is one slot in between and they are sitting in this way. So there are two possibilities, so we cannot yet confirm it, but I just know that SRU can't be here. Neither S nor U is sitting at the extreme ends. So this is a clue which is helping us to avoid one possibility, that this is not possible. If S or U is sitting here, the other person should be sitting here, which is not a possibility. And so the only possibility I have left with is this: S or U should be sitting here and U or S should be sitting in this way. U sits next to V. If I keep U here, the neighbors are Q and P, which is fixed, so that is not correct, because they said U sits next to V. So that means S should be sitting here and U should be sitting here, and obviously R is the one who is sitting here, and U sits next to V. So the left side of U is already occupied by P, there is only one neighbor left, that is V. So I have arranged W, R, Q, S, P, U, V. The only person left is T. So the arrangement is this: W, R, Q, S, P, U, V and T. So who is sitting at the extreme right end? T. Who is sitting to the immediate left of T? It's V. You know, all these questions are super easy to answer once you get the arrangement clear. And once you know where is W seated, R, Q, S, P, U, V, T, and you can, all the questions would be asking on the who is sitting to the second from the right side of P, and you know, all these things, which is very easy to answer once you are very clear with the arrangement. So let's look at another set. This is slightly complicated with 10 people and 2 parallel rows containing 5 people each, in such a way that there is equal distance between the adjacent rows. In row 1, J, K, L, M and N are seated, not necessarily in the same order, and all of them are facing north. So this is the row 1, all of them are facing north. Right? In row 2, I have R, S, T, U, V are seated and all of them are facing south. That's another row. Therefore, in the given seating arrangement, each member seated in row faces another member of the other row. So this arrangement is in such a way that actually they are facing each other. That is what the last statement says. Therefore, in the given seating arrangement, each member seated in row faces another member of the other row. So this is row 2 and this is row 1. So I will have J, K, L, M, N here, possibility. Here I have R, S, T, U, V as a possibility. So this is where the clues start. So let's look at the clues. V sits at one of the extreme ends of the line. So V must be sitting at one of the extreme ends of this line. Only 2 people sit between V and R. So if V is sitting here, 1 and 2, so technically R must be here. If V is sitting here, 1 and 2 and R must be here. Right? R cannot be seated in any other place. The one who faces R sits to the immediate left of L. So I don't know who is facing R. Right? Whoever faces R must be sitting here, which also continues by saying sits to the immediate left of L. I know that L, J, K, L, M, N are facing north, so that is why we have, right? So left of L is basically this. This person is facing R and he is sitting to the immediate left of L, or this is the other possibility where he is sitting to the immediate left of L. Only one person sits between L and K. So if L is sitting here, K could be sitting here, or K could be sitting here. Right, or if L is sitting here, K could be seated here. I don't know, like there are multiple possibilities for this. The one who faces K sits to the immediate left of S. So K could be seated here, 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 and I also know who is sitting opposite to it. And you know, I'll just continue with the rest of the clues. N sits second to the right of J. Again, I don't know where J is seated, and neither K nor L face U. You know, these set of clues are full of indirect clues. I hardly see direct clues. So what I generally would suggest for this set would be to see if we can actually do with the cases approach. So because if I start with, there are only two possibilities for V seated, right? And once I know where V is seated, I can fix R. Once I know where R is seated, I can fix L. You know, all these turn out to be direct clues once we can actually fix the positions. So let's look at case 1. This is where I see 5 people. 5 people. Right, let's start with V seated here. So what does one of the extreme ends I'm taking this? What would be the case 2? V should be sitting here. Right, so let me just do first case first. Case 1. Only 2 people sit between V and R, so there is only possibility of R sitting here. The other side of V is not a possibility to see 2 people sitting between V and R. And the one who faces R sits to the immediate left of L. So R is here, the one facing R is here. So L must be here, so that the one facing R is sitting to the immediate left of L. Only one person sits between L and K, so L is here, so K must be sitting here. The one who faces K, that is this person, sits to the immediate left of S. So S must be seated here. Because they are facing in this direction, this is the left of S, right? So S is seated here. So the one who is facing K is sitting to the immediate left of S. N sits second to the right of J. N sits second to the right of J. I don't know where J is, but what does this say? N sits second to the right of, so J is here and N must be here. This is the arrangement they are saying. So if J is here, N must be taking this place, which is not correct. If J is here, N must be taking this, which is a possibility. J can't be seated here, and if J is sitting here, then N must be sitting outside, which is also not a possibility. So I only see one possibility, which is that J sits here and N sits right to the second to the right of J. So that means I am left with J, K, L, N. So M must be sitting here. Neither K nor L face U. Neither K nor L face U. You see, so what am I left with? M, J, K, N, L as the 5 people sitting. V, S, there's one empty slot. R is sitting here and there's another empty slot. So what are the people who are people left? T and U. So if T sits here, U must be sitting here. So the possibility is TU or UT. But you see, K and L are sitting here. So irrespective of whatever the possibility, neither K nor L face U. But here I am left with no choice. But in this arrangement, if U sits here, he is facing K. If U sits here, he is facing L, which is contradicting the given statement. So that means this case is not a possible one. So let's look at this case. If V is sitting here, R is technically sitting in such a way there are 2 people between 1 and 2. So R is sitting here, right? And also says the one person who faces R, this is the one who is facing R, sits to the immediate left of L. So L should be here. And one person sits between L and K. So K can be seated here, R here. Both of the things are possible, right? So the one who faces K sits to the immediate left of S. So if K is seated here, that means the one facing K is this person and he is sitting to the immediate left of S, which is not a possibility, right? Because the person who is sitting to immediate left of this person would be this person. I mean, the one who's, if S is seated here, that is when to the left of S I would see the person facing K, which is not a possibility. So K must be seated here, so that the person facing K is V, who is sitting to the immediate left of S, right? Then N sits second to the right of J. So that's again the same concept, J and N, there should be one person sitting here. So if I have J here, N will be coming here, that's not correct. If J is here, N will be coming here, that's perfect. There is no other possibility left. So J, N, automatically J, L, N, K and M must be coming here. So I am left with T and U again here, and they said neither K nor L face U. So the possibility is L facing this, which is left for T, because U can't be facing this, and I am left with U. So U, R, T, S, V M, J, L and K. All of the things are perfectly fitting here. Let's look at the statements again. V sits at one of the extreme ends of the line. Yes, V is sitting here, extreme end. Only two people sit between V and R. So 1 and 2. So there are only two people sitting between V and R. That is T and S. The one who faces R sits to the immediate left of L. Who is facing R? It's J. J is sitting to the immediate left of L. Only one person sits between L and K. So L and K is here. That's N who is sitting between L and K. The one who faces K sits to the immediate left of S. So the who is facing K, it's V. So where is S? S is located here. To the immediate left of S we see V who is facing K, which is also satisfying. N sits second to the right of J. So J is here 1 and 2. So N is sitting second to the right of J. And finally neither K nor L face U. So who is facing U? It's M. Neither N, K nor L. So which is true. So all the given statements are working out perfectly fine in this case. So this is the correct case. So then we can continue answering. Who amongst the following is facing M? It's U. Who amongst the following is facing T? That's simple. That's basically L. So the problem with this type of clues is that I am seeing fully indirect clues with multiple interpretations, right? So it's not possible for us to conclude this if we keep writing like this. So we can be sitting here and here and accordingly RR, and we do this. Yes, you can solve in this approach also, but it will be a bit complicated beyond a point for us to look at all the interpretations, possibilities, right? It will boil down for to like 5 to 10 cases being seen in just one situation, which is not really that easy for us to interpret. The better approach for this set of questions would be going for cases where we can clearly see that if I understand and fix one thing, everything else is also taking a fixed seated, right? Where it's very easy for me to rule out or take it. If you see this approach is taking much lesser time, rather than if you try to actually continue solving this using only one arrangement and keep checking all the possibilities, you'll end up with taking a lot of time and might not even solve the problem. So it just depends on the problem and the type of clues given to either use the cases approach, or you rather try to see it as single arrangement and rule out all the possibilities and get the final arrangement. That comes through practice, so don't worry about it, but just keep this in mind that this is also a valid approach to try and depends on the situation and the question. So thank you for watching this video. Do check out our full length courses available for free at gtcube.com/store. You'll get to practice a lot of questions along with these videos as concept videos. Also do like our partners Facebook page, facebook.com/gtcube3. We are coming up with a lot of courses and updates, and you'll get all of them in the Facebook page. Thank you for watching this video, and let's meet in the next video.